Nets Kingdom.
Fuck that house now. I'm back. To the top, I'ma make it. Niggas just can't take it. To the top, I'ma make 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 it. Niggas just can't take it.
Yo, what's good, YouTube? It's your boy AJ. I'm here with Cypher. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, follow us on Instagram, Nets Kingdom 1, and all our Twitters are scrolling at the bottom. Also, check out our playlists. If you go to our playlist on our channel, all the NBA draft prospects are there. So check those out. Make sure you go through there to see our draft prospects scouting reports. But today we're going to talk about, the recent news. It's been a news that's been stirring online from a couple of sources. We've seen shout out to Rafael Barlow, Nets Daily. They have been talking about the Brooklyn Nets possibly trading up for either trading up in the draft for somebody or trading their lower picks to get a lottery pick. So they can have two lottery picks. So let me read exactly what Nets Daily, shout out to Nets Daily. He said hearing Nets may want to move up from 19 to the lottery, offering Cam Johnson and number 19 to Raptors or Rockets for either Raps or 9th or Rockets 10th, plus a bad contract. That would give the Nets 2 picks in the top 10, presupposing neither team would need picks for a Giannis trade. So we saw some, I think yesterday, Ari reported that, the Giannis thing is Giannis might be staying or he's projected to stay. He's not going to request a trade. That's still, in flux. So we don't know for sure, but it's looking like he's going to stay. So that looking like that, if that's the case, let me ask you, Saib, why do you think it's the best decision for Sean to possibly trade these lower picks and Cam Johnson for either the Raptors 9th or the Rockets 10th? Why do you think it's a good idea for Sean to do that?
Because, look, I know Marks has had success drafting later in the draft, but the problem is, look, and a lot of Nets fans don't like to hear this, but the higher you draft, the more likely that player is to be better at basketball.
Yeah.
There's just a ton of evidence that says that. And I know anti-tankers hated to admit that, but it's just true. And look, the Nets have the 8th pick. They can still get a good player, but because of where they're drafting, it's a lot more volatile.
Yeah.
And now with another lottery pick, whether it be 9 or 10, you have another chance to get a high risk, high reward player. And if one of those guys doesn't hit and the other one does, it doesn't matter because you still end up getting the player. It's like having multiple bets.
Yeah.
If you miss one bet, it sucks. But if you hit on the other one, you still win it. You still get money out of it.
Yeah.
And so that's why it's so important for Sean to have another lottery pick or within this range in the mid-first round, because there's a ton of guys in this draft where they have one good skill, and if they get another good skill, they'll be stars. They'll be very good players.
Yeah.
The problem is that other skill thing is very wishy-washy. So if you could get 2 of those guys and at least one of them could hit, then you're golden.
Yeah, because those 2 lottery picks, I think, man, this is a great point that you made. Now that we saw this draft, a lot of these players in the lower first round, late first rounds, they're going back to school because of that NIL money. So that kind of weakens the depth of this draft to me.
Which, by the way, is correct, because if you're the 30th pick in the draft, and the way, look, these NBA teams with their minutes and their rotations are ruthless. Jonathan Kuminga was selected 7th, and he struggles to get minutes on his own team, even though he's been there for years.
Yeah.
It makes sense. If you're projected to go in the lottery, if you're projected to go 30th or in the second round,
25, 26, yeah.
Why not go back to college, get your degree, get an extra couple $1 million? Whereas because the money is less in the later first round and second round, if you don't prove yourself in the NBA in the first couple of years, you could easily get cut.
Yeah. And I think it's a perfect example. Axel Lindenberg going back to Michigan, I'm hearing like he could get at least 8 mil, 7 mil, 8 mil. Like if you're good at get that's way higher than that's true. And he's projected what 23, 24, like that later first round.
8 mil and extra credits for a degree.
Exactly. Like I would take that any day. So yeah, like I said, the lower end of this draft is getting weaker. So it's important for the Nets, I guess, to consolidate some of these picks. So we consolidate and give up some of those lower end and just stay in from 8 to at least 15 range. That's where we can kind of get the bulk. Because to me, that's kind of like the bulk of the upside, safe kind of picks, kind of like because once it gets past 15 for me, that's where I think the draft kind of turns a little bit.
The ceiling is lower.
Yeah, the ceiling's lower. Thank you. The ceiling's lower, and you're more shooting for the stars. So that 8 to 15 is like the meat of the potato. You know, the meat of potatoes. That's like the meat and potatoes. So
You could get like okay, think like if the Nets trade for a second lottery pick, they could get Noah Senge and Igor Denim.
yes,
And
perfect.
here's the thing: though, both those guys have problems like on-ball creation
Mhm.
with a Senge, and then with Denim, it's his just his ability to hit shots.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
here's the thing: though, if one of those guys gets better at the thing they are bad at, they would go top 5 in this draft.
Yes, exactly. Before we get into that, because I want to talk about the prospects we would choose, but before we get into that, there's people who are saying that. Let me ask you this about Cam Johnson. They're saying like, oh, that is not the correct value for Cam Johnson. Even like we would have to take a bad contract from the Raptors or the Rockets, and we're only getting it would be what in essence a swap. Do you think that's fair return for Cam Johnson, or do you think like no, it's not fair return? Because there's some people in the comments who are arguing that it's not really good return for CJ.
It's hard to say because okay,
Mhm.
I understand like the logic because you're essentially taking back bad money and you're only moving up 10 spots.
Yeah,
The problem is when are you going to get better?
yeah,
Because like a better offer because teams are holding on to their first because of this new CBA.
yeah,
Like in the past, we would have been able to get later first round picks for Dorian Finney-Smith and Dennis Schroeder. But now teams are only just giving up seconds for those kinds of players. Like everyone is saving their draft picks for like when stars ask out,
yeah,
or to just draft players and then have cheap role players to replace their like veterans and then get these guys on cheaper contracts so they could keep their stars. Like that's what OKC is probably going to do. I could see them in like a year trading away Lou Dort and then giving Kason Wallace the starting role full time
yeah,
because Wallace just makes that rookie money. I
yeah,
think that I think Nets fans need to take theoretically a little bit less for CJ, especially because this is a guaranteed pick. Because it'll just say you ask for something else, like you trade Cam Johnson to the Pacers for like two two top 10
Pro-
protected first because
protected.
you're not.
Yeah, yeah. We
It's
don't
like
know if they're going to convey or not. That's the
you don't
thing.
know they're going
Yeah,
to convey, and if they
yeah,
do, they're going to be outside the lottery. So
yeah.
this is an opportunity to get a guaranteed top 10 pick or a top 12 pick
Mhm.
in a good draft class and get another young player because the Nets right now desperately need young talent. And if they could get two of these like 19-year-old tall, high upside guys,
Yeah,
and if at least one of them could hit, because here's the problem though. Let's just say the Nets don't do this and they just draft Asenge, and he doesn't end up improving. Like the jump shot is still bad, doesn't develop any on ball stuff. Then he's just a tall Zaire Williams at that point.
yeah,
And it's like, well, what are we gonna do? And then he'd be a bust, and that would set the franchise back for years. So
yeah.
get a second lottery pick, and then get another chance. Because if you could get another one, then it's like if Igor Denim becomes the next Halliburton, then we're set for life.
Yes, exactly. And I think it's for me, like I understand, I guess, as Nets fans or as Nets guy, like we want the most value for CJ, but we can't fall into that trap of waiting and holding. Like we've seen Sean Marks hold some of these guys, DFS, Dennett, like holding these guys too long, and it can either affect the tank or you get 3 seconds and poor value for CJ. So it's like it's a must. We have to trade Cam Johnson this summer because we have to tank in 2026 for that generational draft, and Cam Johnson makes our team better. You know what I'm saying?
Not that is true 100%.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
also, it's like like what the thing that bothered me about this year is that we were winning these games with guys that are older and aren't going to be on the team realistically the next time the Nets are good.
Yeah.
Because with Cam Johnson, it's like, okay, if the Nets trade Cam Johnson and then we get like Denham or Senge or Carter Bryant or
Yeah.
Yaku Chonis or whoever, and those guys are killing it and we win games, then it's like I don't care. We got the young player to
Oh yeah,
play
you
well.
just gotta tip your hat to that because it's like, I mean, what team usually wins with a bunch of rookies and sophomore and
Get
random free agents guys? Yeah, yeah.
because to me the worst thing the Nets could do is just keep holding Cam Johnson and for what? Like you don't know what you're gonna get. Like sometimes you
Mm,
got to take the bird in hand, and this is a pretty damn good bird.
yeah. Yeah, and it's like I said with Cam Johnson, he has to get traded this summer. So, and I said this last summer. I said when we had that team with Dennis and all them, I was like, get these guys out of here during the summer, get them out because I want to go into next year with I want to go fully young. I want anybody outside of Cam Thomas, Clax, the guys, the young guys we have already. Those guys stay, but I'm saying like outside of those guys being the older, I want them to be the older guys and our whole team to be a bunch of rookies. So like that way it increases our chances of being one of the worst teams in the NBA because we're so young. You like I said, you don't typically see a bunch of rookies and sophomore, junior guys being having a playoff team or being close to a play-in. I know the East is bad, but it's a very, very, very unlikely to see that. You know what I'm saying?
And from an entertainment perspective, like it's
Yeah.
fun. It's fun to watch rookies.
Yeah, it's fun to see.
It's
Like, yeah, yeah,
dude, it's especially these guys. Like, dude, watching some of these young 19-year-olds with like lottery picks. Like the Nets haven't had that since 2010.
yeah.
It just like let's get these guys and they'll be fun to watch just because you're excited for what they could be, the development.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, exactly. Like you built you homegrown guys. You get to root for the guy you picked. It's like it's fun. It's fun seeing a guy grow up in the system. Like when we drafted Cam Thomas and Nick Claxton, it's like if you have a more like emotional connection to those guys because it's like you saw, you pick them, you saw them grow, you saw them become great. It's like it's more fun to watch that. So yeah, we'll get that's the Cam Johnson out the way. So I put up on Twitter, right? I put up on Twitter, who are you taking at 8 and 9 or 8 and 10? Drop your two prospects below if you had to pick. So I'm gonna read a little bit of some of what people said. I see here Maluach and Rashir. I see here Asenge, either Fears or Bryant. I see Fears and Derek Queen, Asenge, Fleming, Maluach, Demon, Noah, and Cedric Cower. Shout out to the Cedric Cower fan club. We'll be doing a video on him soon. Demon, Maluach, a lot of Asenge, Maluach, Noah, Asenge, a lot of Asenge in here. Carter Bryant, Noah, Jeremiah Fears, and Queen. Two of Asenge, Knepple or Demon, Carter Bryant, Asenge. So a lot of Asenge. I'm going through the comments about a lot of people are rooting for the Asenge. I see Kaman is another name, and then Carter Bryant. So I guess Nets fans are saying Fears, Knepple, Carter Bryant, Maluach. That's kind of like Asenge. That's kind of like the group of what they want at pick number 8 and pick number 9, or pick number 8 and pick number 10. So sorry if I'm gonna ask you, what would you pick? Who would be your two guys you want to see the Nets get at pick number 8, or pick number 9, or pick number 8, or pick number 10?
I think it's between 4 guys right now. I'd say Asenge, Bryant, Denham, and Yaguchanis. I'll throw him in there.
Yakushanos? Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
those 4 guys. I
Okay.
know there are other guys on this draft. I know a lot of guys like Fears, but look, 3-point shot. He's really small. I can easily see him being like really bad, even though I see the ceiling and upside.
Mhm.
Like the other guys, like they all have size, like size, length, and other skills. Whereas with Fears, it's just like he's smaller. It's hard to see it with him, even though I think he's really talented.
Do you think, like, for me, I think like one of these picks has to be a point guard or some type of playmaking because the Nets desperately need a point guard right now? Or do you think, no, let's just take the upside. Let's just shoot for the upside. Strongest upside. Asenge
Strongest
and
upside.
strongest upside. So you don't
Yeah.
care about like if
If you
we need a point guard or not.
now look
Mhm.
with these lottery picks, you need to draft talent. You
Okay.
need to draft talent because let's just say Yaku Jonas. Like I listed him. Let's just say Sean Marks and like BJ Johnson, all the net scouts. Let's just say they think Yaku Jones' ceiling is like Josh Giddey or whatever.
Yeah.
If they think that's the ceiling, then don't draft him. Like you got to go for the highest upside guys. Like the Nets need talent. Like they need franchise cornerstones. And look, that comes with all the guys I mentioned. Like there is a floor. Like these guys all could suck. Like I could see
Yeah.
Carter Bryant, Igor Denham, and Noah Senge being out of the NBA in 5 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a chance they could be bad. Yeah. The floor.
Yeah,
Yeah. Good chance they could be bad.
if the skills don't come around, like if Carter Bryant's jump shot doesn't translate and he's just a defender, a 6'8" defender, then it's like where is he gonna go if he can't play offense? And the same thing with Denham. Like if he can't hit shots and he's just a tall passer, it's like he's not gonna be in the NBA for long. So there's a ton of risk with these guys.
Yeah.
But again, if their current skills could translate and they develop another skill, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah. For me, I think I would probably do Malawach at 8, and then that 10 pick is either gonna be. It probably is gonna be if I'm going straight upside, I'll probably do a Senge. So my two would probably be Malawach and a Senge. Those two guys, really, really young. I think Kaman turns 19 in like September. Senge turns 19 late, right December. Really, really high upside guys. They got the size, length. Could be, I think those are good picks for me. Those are my buy 2 picks, but again, like you said, it could really be any kind of mixture of, those Kasparis, Malawach, Yegor. It's so hard to pick these two, bro. It is so hard, but it's like that's the hard part about drafting. The hard part about drafting, like you gotta be, and that's the hard part about being at 8. It's like you either gotta reach for something below you and it's good, or if you reach below, it could be good, or if you reach, it could be really, really bad. So you just gotta make sure that reach that you take has to be good. You gotta hit on that reach. So it's like it's so scary as a. I really want to figure out what these scouts are doing and what they're gonna do at that 8, and if they get a 10 pick, because bro, if they reach and it's a bust, it's terrible. And I wish that we tanked harder so we could like have more of a safe 5 or 4 or 6. Like that seems more like, okay, I don't have to reach in that case. I could get a really good guy at 5 or 6, but 8, 9, 10, it's like you're kind of reaching a little bit, It's just one of those scary things, bro. But yeah, let us know in the comments, who would you guys choose for those 2 lottery picks if the Nets traded up? Would you let us know your 2 combinations of those lottery picks. Make sure you guys hit that like button, subscribe, follow us on Instagram at NetsKingdom1, and all our Twitters are scrolling at the bottom. Appreciate you guys so much. We'll be back.